demonstrating love for yourself by way of your craft.
Right.
And by pushing through and letting people know or giving them your true authentic self, because you're like,
Right.
it doesn't matter if there's
Right.
only one or two people here in the room.
Right.
There were times where you brought up Jesus, like where he only spoke to a handful of people, and then where he spoke to thousands of people. But in each of those stories, he still was his authentic self. He still gave his self 100%. So
what makes you authentic?
What makes me authentic?
What do you do?
What's my authenticity?
What is it? Because everybody's is different, and everybody has, whether if you're authentic, you're transparent, you're honest, you're, whatever. So what is yours?
I am a direct empath.
I can see that. I can. We Jersey people.
Okay.
We straight
to the point. Straight out of Jersey. I understand and I get you. And when people talk to me and engage with me and connect with me, they understand, like, they really feel like, yo, she gets me. And in me getting you, that opens the door for me to be direct with you, to say, hey, I don't know if we can curse on here, but I'm a cussing saint, y'all.
Please.
I'm a cussing
Be
saint.
yourself.
But I'm like, get your shit together.
Yeah, for real.
Like, stop playing.
See, if you say shit, I say shid.
Okay.
That's my
get your
word.
shit together, okay?
But say it the way you want to say it.
Like, get it together. Like, so I am definitely an empath because I allow people to connect with their feelings. Like, I'm like, hey, feel what you need to feel
it
wholeheartedly. But then at the end of the feeling, what is your intention for allowing yourself to experience these emotions?
Right.
Is it just to complain or to connect with them? Or is it to cleanse, clarify, and release them? So that's what I mean when that's my authenticity, is being that direct empath, where I can say what the hell I need to say, what the heck I need to say.
No,
sorry, y'all.
Say
what
hell.
the heck I need to say.
Because I'd be like, what the hell? I do it all the time. See, here's the thing. Let me turn my camera back around. This is what some of y'all don't understand. If you don't know me personally, you don't understand that sometimes I actually do say what the hell, because the situation calls for what the hell. What the heck isn't always strong enough. So what the hell is like, So if she's gonna curse, she's gonna curse.
I apologize, y'all. I'm a cussing saint. When you go to church and I tell my pastor, I'm saying, God ain't through with me yet, though. He delivered me from fighting, but he ain't delivered me from cursing yet. So y'all got to bear with me. Y'all got to bear with me. I got some of the jersey out, but not all the jersey out.
Oh, you ain't never gonna get the jersey out. You ain't never gonna get the jersey out.
Okay.
I say be your authentic self. I have a lisp. Sorry, y'all. Your authentic self, because people want to feel like they can relate to you. And so, let's just go ahead and go into that conversation.
Yes.
People want to feel like they can relate to you. If you are a saint, but you at some point forgot that you used to be an ain't, then why is it that we need to have a conversation? Like, if we can't be real, if we can't talk like regular people, if we always got to be in the pulpit having a conversation, then how is it that we're able to be transparent?
Absolutely.
Or how are we able to be honest with one another? So if you want to curse, do your thing.
Okay, that's just me. So, like, there's a group out here called the Christian Influencers. So they reached out to me, and I was like, y'all do know I curse, right? Y'all do know that, like, I'm going to just tell you like it is. I'm going to get straight to the point. But I might drop a couple of F-bombs in there. And they're like, yeah, just be yourself. Just be yourself. And that's what I tell my people that follow me. I get a lot of people that slide in my DMs like, yo, you just read us. You just told us off. I just told you what it is. I just told it like it is. You can either take it or you leave it. And my best part of my authenticity is like, hey, I'm not for everybody, and I don't want to be.
And it's okay.
I don't have that desire.
And it's okay. Like, it's okay. Beyonce ain't for everybody, but she's still Beyonce, and she's still securing her bag. Like, and that's the thing. I don't feel the need in this whole self-love conversation. Yes, please, girl, get comfortable, because it's definitely hot in here. I don't feel comfortable with feeling like I need to alter who I am.
Right.
To make you feel comfortable.
Right.
That's not my job. Either you like me or you don't. Right. And if you're not comfortable with me, or if you don't like me, it's okay. I'm just not for you. That's completely fine. But I had to learn that for over some years.
Right.
Like, I used to be the people pleaser. I used to be the one who, no, I didn't do it. I'm so sorry. Oh my God. That shit is done with. Like, I don't have time for that. I don't have time to feel like I said this a couple weeks ago. I don't have time to babysit your feelings.
Right.
I don't have time to feel like I need to alter myself just because you may feel offended or you may feel uncomfortable or you didn't like what I did. If we're adults, let's talk about it. If you still didn't like what I did, then I don't know what to tell you.
Right.
So I say that in love, but I also say with the whole self-love thing, for me, self-love means I'm going to like me first before I decide whether we need to be in a relationship. I am then going to take care of me and all of me. That includes me spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically. Right. And so some people take self-love as I'm going to read the Bible and I should be okay. I'm going to go get my nails done and I should be okay. I'm going to do my hair and I should be okay. Sometimes it's not just those things individually. Sometimes it encompasses all of it. And the healthy balance in it is I am going to be me regardless. Yep. I am going to love who I am regardless. I am a firm believer in you cannot learn how to love other people until you learn how to love and like yourself. I've really like encountered and come across some people who took their feelings out on me because they were having a bad day, sir and or madam. That is not going to happen. That is simply because somebody effed up your day. You're not going to do that to mine.
Absolutely.
Learn how to figure out what it is that you need to get your stuff together first, and then we can then come back to me and have a real conversation. Yeah. One of my best friends, she said to me one day, she said, Shanae, you'd rather carry around dead people than be without people.
Okay.
I said, oh. So I said, explain that. She said, all the dead weight that you carrying around, you would rather carry around people who you were supposed to let go a long time ago, who make you uncomfortable, who make you come out of yourself, who make you feel some type of way. You are so scared to be by yourself just for this one particular moment of your life or this temporary season of your life. You would rather carry around all that dead weight and be heavy all the time than to be light but be scared to be by yourself. I was like, I mean, she like your follower said, she definitely read me. But it was true. And from that statement, I learned how to just self-love all of this here. Yeah. All of this, all of the curvage, all of this faux lock crocheting that I got going on here. Yeah. I learned how to love every part of Shanae. And like Amber has this event coming up. Tell us about the event.
So the event is Cupcakes, Cocktails, and Conversations. And it's an interactive experience for women. And this month is International Women's Month. Yes. So shout out to my women out there, especially my melanin enriched millennial women. Like that's where my heart is. Yeah. For us. But the event is about self-love. So the topic for this year's event, because I'm taking it on a tour, so if you want us to come to your city, slide in my DMs and say, bring it here.
You hear that,
I know we're going to Jersey.
You hear that, Darletta? She can eventually come to Atlanta.
I'm planning on coming to Atlanta, so I know we're hitting Jersey this year for sure. But just to understand, like, you go to some of these empowerment events and you leave with like this knowledge, but you don't leave with how to actually translate it into your life. Right. To have that continuous experience so that you are experiencing empowerment on your own, because that's all a part of self-love. So Cupcakes, Cocktails, and Conversations is just the umbrella of a topic that has to do with transformational empowerment, not just that one-time experience. It's something that is going to be on a continuous basis for people who attend the event. So that's on March 23rd. It's a Saturday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. in Durham at the Carrick. You can get RSVP at www.arichbook.com, or you can hit me up. But everything's on the website, arichbook.com.
So tell us about the whole millennial. What's your millennial group, and how do you relate that to self-love? Like, what do you do with your audience?
So can I answer that question but also go back to something you were talking about?
Yes.
So I definitely loved what your best friend told you, and I tweeted or posted a tweet a while ago, and it talked about how people are leaving our lives. Like, we'd rather
we'd
rather live
I saw that.
Right? We'd rather live enslaved than to die free. And when people hear like, oh, slavery and freedom,
that sounds like the Killmonger on Black Panther.
Right. It definitely sounds like Killmonger. But in this case, as it relates to self-love, it has nothing to do with physical death. But it has everything to do with egotistical death. What are you willing to risk? What are you willing to say, to put on the line for your life? Like you said, the dead weight. Like your best friend, she was right. We carry around people who are emotional leeches, who are energy leeches, who are only with you for what you can do for them and what you can offer them. There's no reciprocity there, because you're like, hey, you're calling me to cry on my shoulder, to get my wisdom, to get my feedback, to get my knowledge, to get my divine inspiration. But then it's like, when I need to call somebody, it's like, yo, who do I call? They're like, hey, well, I can't talk. Like, they're quick to set that boundary to say, no, I don't want to hear what you have to say right now, because that's too much. And those are the people that we hold on to. And the thing is, as freeing as it is to let go of that dead weight, to die to our ego, to say, hey, I'd be by myself and align with myself, it can get lonely. But then when you sit there and you center yourself and you commune with your higher self, when you commune with God, you're like, hey, I'm really not alone. This is all in alignment for where I'm going. And this is just temporary. You said one of my favorite words, it's temporary. In this moment, it's just temporary. So that's something that I really loved. I appreciate your best friend for sharing that with you.
I had another one to tell me, I have two. I have another one that told me here lately, like I've been worried about gaining weight. I'm having, hear me out. I
got 3 kids, y'all. She about to sit up here and tell me about gaining weight.
Hear me out before you judge me. Okay. So I have had this fear of gaining weight and letting myself go, so to speak. When Shanae gets comfortable, Shanae likes to eat everything in sight. I am used to being athletic. I'm used to having a certain amount of weight on me, a certain amount of muscle. So getting older, almost 30, and curving out and filling out is new to me. So I'm used to being a certain kind of weight. So one of my best friends is a plus size model. She's amazing, beautiful young lady, plus size model. I said to her, I said, Naja, I'm a little afraid to gain weight. It's been on my mind. She said, let me ask you a question. I said, okay. She said, if you gain weight, are you still smart? I said, yeah.
Okay.
She said, are you still beautiful? I said, yes. She said, do you still have a man that loves the mess out of you? I said, yeah. And then she said something else that I can't say on Facebook Live. And so I said, yeah, that too. And so she said, so even if you did gain weight, could you lose it? I said, yeah. So she said, so what we talking about? And I was like, oh, okay. And even from those little comments, I watched her and I watched how much she loves herself. She's very comfortable with her body, and whether she's a plus size model, whether she's not a plus size model, she enjoys her bikinis. She enjoys her half shirts. She enjoys every part about herself. And that was something that I wanted to learn. I wanted to learn more of how, if I am not a certain size, like Amber says, she's had 3 kids. Look at her, y'all. She's had 3 kids. She had 3 kids. Look at her. I wanted to learn that. I wanted to learn, like, teach me how to love me in spite of me. Like, if my husband loves me in spite of me, I want to learn how to love me in spite of me too. But I'm sorry, I cut you off.
It's cool. You had to talk about it.
Yeah,
but
man.
Those are the questions that we have out here as it relates to self-love. And the craziest thing is, the hardest person to love is ourselves. Yep. And when you said it best, I want to talk about boundaries as it relates to self-love. And you could tell me, like, no, I'm going to definitely talk about my love for millennials.
Yeah.
But boundaries are so important as it relates to self-love, because that's where you create the boundaries for yourself.
I'm going to take notes. This is class for me too. Go ahead.
You have to create the boundaries because they are for yourself. They are for you to create a space of healing for yourself. Nobody talks about the healing aspect of self-love. It's like, you got to look in the mirror and you got to say, hey, I'm beautiful. Hey, I'm handsome. Hey, girl, you got it going on. It's more than that. it's more, it's investing in yourself. It's spending quality time with yourself. When I tell people, they say, oh, you go to bed early or you shut down your life early. I do, because I spend quality time with myself. And people look at me like I'm crazy. Like, what do you mean quality time? Like, girl, what you doing? No, I'm journaling. I'm meditating. I'm speaking kind words to myself, because the thing is, you talked about projection earlier. And so we're going to come back to boundaries, y'all. We're going to come back to boundaries. It's like this thing on Facebook where they said, okay, how we tell stories. Like, some people say this is the point of the story, and then people get right to it. And then some of us, we got like, and then we got all these different things, and then it take us back to the same point we trying to get to. Oh, like how it all came together.
We about to go on that trip.
Like,
go ahead.
So that's the trip we about to go on, right? So putting boundaries to the side for the moment. Dang. Lost my train of thought. Hold on. Okay, so we'll talk about boundaries.
We gonna get it back.
So much going on. See, I just lost my train of thought. Okay, so with the boundaries, we're setting it for ourselves because nobody should be able to push past a certain point, right? When I told you, like, those people that call you just to dump on you, just to pull on your energy, when we create those boundaries, it's never about them. It's always about you and what you're able to give out. So when it comes to self-love, you got to set that boundary for yourself as far as what you're going to allow yourself to consume, whether what you're watching, what you're eating, who you're talking to, the places that you're going. When we hear consuming, we automatically think of food, but it's not just about food. It's about conversations. It's about those friends. It's about the thoughts. It's about the things that we're watching. It's about anything that we're taking into our spirit and taking into our soul, right? So here we got with self-love. You have to actively heal, right? Self-love, healing is like one of the hugest parts of self-love. We are always going to heal until the day that we die. When people hear of healing, we automatically think like, oh, something traumatic happened as a child or in the past. And that's not necessarily the case. You don't need trauma to heal. Healing is just another way to say grow and mature. You're always learning no matter what. You brought up consistency earlier. I ask people, what is success without consistency? All it is failure, right? And then what is failure with consistency? It is just success. So consistency is a huge part of self-love and self-healing. I, as this empowerment guru, whatever, I have my days where I'm just like, woe is me, such is life, right? And that's what I shared earlier. We have to allow ourselves to experience all of those emotions, to sit there and go through the agony, to sit there and allow ourselves to feel that sadness, to feel that anger, to feel that anxiety. But what is your intention behind doing that, right? My intention is to explore these emotions so that I can find out where the root is.
Right.
Of why I'm feeling this way. Like, where did these feelings come from?
Right. So I heard TD Jakes say, and I say this all the time, praise the Lord for TD Jakes. He said, you cannot change things you won't confront. And I agree. You don't have to have trauma to heal. You don't have to, something bad doesn't have to happen for you to be like, oh snap, I need to get it together. There comes a time when you have to decide that I can't be the person I was yesterday. There comes a time when you have to decide I can't allow you to treat me how you have been treating me for so long, because I have to love me more than I love you. And so I remember having to have hard conversations with mentee of people. And I mean, I remember having to leave people without explanation.
You have to.
I used to think closure meant we need to sit down, we need to have a conversation. Let's talk about that.
Okay.
Let's
okay.
Go ahead and
so we're gonna talk about closure, but I also remember my thought. I remember my thought.
Ahead.
So we're gonna talk about closure. But my thought that I remember, y'all gonna be like, oh, Richie booked my brain. All right, it's cool. So I was up back home in Jersey. If she's watching this, cool, whatever. But she was like, this is how I talk, right? Like, this is how I talk, y'all. I'm like, yo, somebody told me I talk like I'm a rapper. That's cool. I'm not a rapper, but they said I talk like I'm a rapper, so it's cool. So this is how I talk all the time, even to my kids. I'm like, yo, what are you doing? Like, sit down, yo. Like, I'm not playing. Your kids
gonna be like, Mom.
That's how they look. I'm be like, yo, son, I'm not playing with you. And they're like, Okay, mom. So she was like, yo, you're mad aggressive. Like, you just aggressive for no reason. And I'm like, whoa, pause. I was on my phone sending an email. I'm like, pause. Hold on. We're going, Webster, where you at? I'm like, because you're not going to do. I said, aggressive. And this is something, and this is important to me because a lot of times as Black women, we get told we are aggressive. Mm-hmm. The definition of aggressive is to act with the intention to cause harm physically or mentally. And I'm adding on there emotionally or socially or spiritually or any other alley. We get told that we're aggressive, but we're not acting with the intention to cause harm. We are just expressive. We are just stern and assertive, and we know what we want and we know what we're talking about.
But let a man say something like that, and all
right.
of a sudden he's not aggressive.
Right.
He's sexy. If he talk like that.
No, but this is how I talk, and they like, yo, you mad intimidating. I'm like, the man that's for me, my soul partner, will be able to say, yo, ain't nobody playing with you, Rich Book. Sit down, little Richie, and I'll be like, okay. But until the man that could do that, then you know. But so with that being said, I went through that definition with her, and I said, who hurt you? That's my question that I ask so many people. Who hurt you? That we have to take. You talked about people who take their feelings out on the other person. That's called projection. And that's one of my favorite words to use because a lot of the times we project onto people things that we are feeling.
I really am taking
notes. And so take notes. That's cool. That's cool.
Seriously.
So she projected onto me. I said, well, who told you that? I said, somebody in your life called you aggressive so much that you identify me as an aggressive person, that you identify me as this aggressive behavior, right? And she's like, well, everybody in my life used to call me aggressive. Like they used to say, you're mad aggressive just because I talk a certain way. I said, those people were projecting onto you their fears. Those people were projecting onto you their insecurities of how they felt comfortable with you communicating with them, right? And so that's where the boundary aspect comes in. So we'll come back around that full circle, but that's my question to anybody listening and watching on my live. Who hurt you? And that's the question that I even asked myself too through my healing journey. Like, who hurt you? And at first it was like,
that's the question I still ask myself.
First it was like, yo, my parents, because they didn't do this, and this, and I could have had this type of life. Right. Then it was like, oh, my ex-husband, because I was just a young girl and he took advantage. And then it was like, oh, this person who called me their best friend. But then guess what? I still wasn't healed. And so then when I looked at it, who hurt you? I hurt myself by allowing people to control my self-identity, by allowing people to create the narrative of my life, right? That's where the healing comes in. So closure, right? We're talking about closure. Shanae said sometimes we think closure is coming and sitting down, shaking hands. All right, Shanae, we can never be friends again, but good luck to you. It's been real, right? Sometimes you will never have that. I have a problem with the posts that go around and say, oh, if you're too grown, you can't have a conversation like an adult, X, Y, and Z. Yes and no, because not everybody's mature enough or ready enough to have a conversation.
Right.
Because not everybody is coming to the conversation with empathy or with the intention to listen, to understand.
Right.
So no, it's not always effective to have a conversation.
Right.
And so if we're going to bring the Bible into it, let's talk about Peter and Paul. Peter thought people who were becoming Christians, they needed to become circumcised, right? Paul was like, nah, they don't need to become circumcised. They just need the circumcision of the heart. They just need to understand that they need to accept Christ in their heart and purge themselves up here, right? It's an internal thing for Paul. But then you have Peter over here saying, nah, you can't be a Christian if you don't get circumcised. It's not happening. They went their separate ways. They reconciled by agreeing to say, hey, let's agree to disagree and let's go our separate ways by way of still bringing everybody to Christ. But this is the way that I'm going to teach people to come to Christ. And this is the way I'm going to teach people to come to Christ. So it wasn't like a sit down, let's do it, let's work it out. There are people who you have to let go by way of a text message where they say, okay, and then you just never respond back because it's not worth it. And some people won't get the point. And then that's when you got to say, look, I wish you the best.
I don't have nothing else. Like, I remember I've said that to family, where I have said that to cousins. If you're watching, you know who you are. I've said it to cousins where, and I'm not even trying to be petty. It's just real. Like, I have said that to people that I thought was supposed to love me because we have the same bloodline. I have said, I love and respect myself too much to go back and forth with you. I'm not going to keep doing this. Mm-hmm. If you are going to keep being this way, I'm going to go this way. You can stay here, but I'm going to leave. If you don't leave, I'll leave. Because this going back and forth is not, one, it's not helping me grow. Two, we're not reconciling. We're not getting along. So what is the point of being in relationship? Why am I in a toxic relationship when I don't have to be?
People function in toxicity, right?
Yeah.
And people function in toxicity. People function in chaos.
Another wise thing one of my best friends says to me, they just wise. I got some wise friends. She said, what'd she say? What'd you say, Mel? She said, you can be in toxic stuff, but you can also be in, come on, Shanae, come on, it's coming. You can be in, you can be comfortable in your mess. What am I looking for? Oh God, it left me. You can be comfortable in your, okay, let's use chaos. You can be comfortable in your chaos and be uncomfortable in your freedom. Because chaos to you it's easy. You're used to it.
Yeah.
But being in freedom is foreign to us.
Can I talk about it?
Go ahead, please.
So that's Mel, you the GOAT, because
no, she's true. Definitely the GOAT.
You true. That's true. Look, I'm that person. I'm gonna give credit where credit is due, right? So when I separated from my husband, I was 6 weeks pregnant, and I remember I was sitting in my living room. I got a new place and everything, and I came home from work. I was commuting from Durham to Winston-Salem every day. I was an auditor, so I was commuting every single day. And I got home and I was sitting in my living room, sitting on my couch, and I'm just like, it was silence, y'all. When I tell you it was silent, I had carpet all in my house. You could hear a pin hit the carpet fibers. That's how quiet it was.
One of my watchers said we preaching. We preaching in here. She listening hard. Okay. Go ahead, girl.
So I was sitting there in silence, and I broke out crying, y'all. I just broke out crying. No, it's not the pregnancy. I don't know. I just broke out crying.
You were pregnant while you were doing this commute?
Yes, girl.
Oh, God.
I went through so much. Y'all gotta wait for the book, though. Y'all gotta wait for the book.
Woman.
Y'all gotta wait for the book, though. You gotta wait for the book.
I thought I was strong.
You gotta wait for the book. You gotta wait for the book. Yes, I left my husband when I was 6 weeks pregnant.
I'm here for it.
And I was sitting in the living room, and I started crying. And then I wiped my tears. Y'all, I was crying because I'm like, ain't nobody fucking up my day. I had a great day at work, and nobody came and told me that they don't want to hear how good my day is because they had a bad day. I didn't have chaos. I didn't have to have my regular evening argument.
Right.
I didn't have to have.
Ain't nothing like peace, huh?
No, I was just like,
ain't nothing like peace.
Nobody want this. I'm like, people want to stay in relationships and argue all the time when they could sit in their house in silence, in peace.
In peace.
I'm like, this is normal.
In peace.
This is what normalcy is. Having freedom. I tell people I was looking for freedom and I didn't know what freedom was. I didn't know that freedom was going to take me on a divorce, that it was going to lead me to being a single mother, that it was going to lead me down the road where I am from there to now. I am more blessed now than I was when I was married. And
Definitely.
I try to tell people that's where your best friend said, like, when we hold on to this dead weight onto situations, right? We block blessings from our lives. We block favor from our lives, right? Mm-hmm. In the moment that I chose myself over a marriage, right, over what the world says, or what I think, kids should have a 2-parent household. My children are the happiest that they've ever been, ever, right? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Here I am. They know what peace is. They know that chaos, that's not normal. My 5-year-old can sit here and tell you that people have the responsibility to treat us right. And in the same breath, tell you that she, as a person, as an individual, has the responsibility to treat you right also.
That's because of what she's watching in her
right?
mother.
Right. Mm-hmm. And that's what we teach. When at school I got a call from her teacher. She's like, Ms. Richardson, nothing's wrong, but I just watched how Emery was on the playground and the little girl said this and the little boy did this. And she told the little boy, you need to go work on your self-love, and walked away, right? Then she told the little girl, she said, Ms. Richardson, Then Emery said, she told her friend, you need to work on your consistency in this friendship if we're going to be friends. I'm like, that's my baby. Those are the type of calls I want to get. Okay? Like,
I love it.
But it starts at such a young age.
Right.
And I didn't teach.
Right.
I wasn't taught self-love, right? It wasn't enough for my dad to be like, oh, you're daddy's little girl. You're so beautiful. I love your hair, blah, blah, blah. And then mom to say, oh, you're so beautiful. And then everyone to say, oh, you look just like your mom. Mm-hmm. That's not teaching children about self-love, right? Mm-hmm. The things that we need to be instilling in the next generation is emotional intelligence and self-love. So I'm sorry.
No. I'm you talking to Darletta said drops mic. I love it. No, you were in a marriage and you are now single, and that is your freedom. I was engaged and I was mad, and y'all all know my story. I was madly in love with this man. And I mean, you could not tell me that I was not going to marry this man. And when that didn't happen, I was broken. You go through the process of healing. You go through the process of that self-love and getting back to yourself. But I never knew the freedom in a marriage now that I wouldn't have had in a marriage then. And so I never realized, like, sometimes those tears are not always tears of pain. And that I was in church today, y'all. Oh my gosh. I was in church today. Darletta said I need to come to Durham. Girl, come on to Durham. So I was in church today. I went to the River Church with Bishop Godby. And first of all, he preached his socks off. So he gave us a moment to praise and worship, and the Spirit fell down. And it was amazing. And I did one of them.
The ugly cry, not the ugly cry.
Oh my God. Yeah. Hair everywhere. I'm glad I ain't have on no makeup because it would have just been everywhere. In my worship today, I heard the Spirit of the Lord say, you are praising, but this is not a pain praise. This is a praise of power. And there is possibility that when you cry, when you scream, when you shout, when you do all these different things in the power of the Holy Ghost, even outside of church, it can be in a place of power. It doesn't necessarily have to be in a place of pain or a place of sadness. And I think we misconstrue, I need to go to church to heal. I also need to go to church to keep my healing. I also need to go to church to praise God for my healing. I find it weird. And I think it's because I'm living a healed life. I find it weird that sometimes, not all, you heard Shanae say not all. But what I've come to realize is that when I go to certain churches, the pastor is only talking to the people who need healing. What about the people who are already healed? What do we do? Because at some point you have to know how to protect your healing. You have to know how to keep that self-love. So after you take people out of pain and out of that place of, I was in a process of trying to get to healing, now I am at healing. So now that I'm here, where do I go next? And so that, I think for me, that is why I wanted to have this podcast, because Amber and I are both living a healed life. Granted, are there some things that we probably still need to heal on? Yes.
We always healing. We are
always healing. We're always growing. We're always trying to get to the next level in our faith. Whether she's a cussing saint, whether I'm a half cussing saint, because I be cussing too. I just don't tell y'all, but I be cussing too.
I'm a thug.
I'm a real thug.
I'm a young thug, y'all.
Listen, we from Jersey. Durham don't scare us.
They like, you going over there?
Durham and Raleigh don't scare us. We are from Jersey.
I'm like, okay.
You North Jersey, right?
I'm from Northeast Orange, y'all.
Yeah, I'm from Camden, South Jersey. Okay. All day. But I wanted to have this podcast specifically because, one, yes, we are all trying to get to healing, but what do you do when you're at healing? What is
can
the
I
next
talk?
stage? Yes,
can I talk on that?
Please.
Because you're going to be consistently healing. So even though when you feel like you've arrived, don't stay there. Right. Because then we get complacent and we're like, well, I'm healed and I'm good to go.
And then we begin to backslide. And then we forget I actually was healed because let me turn it back around. Y'all got to understand, you are used to getting to the process of healing. You're not used to being healed.
Right.
So it's easy to fall back into the process of healing when you don't stay consistent in the place where God has brought you. Oh my God.
Okay. So you just preached to yourself. You gave yourself the word. She done gave herself the word, y'all. She done gave herself the word that she was looking for. See, that's what happens when you begin to listen to your higher self. Your higher self begin to tell you the answers that you've been seeking this whole time, right?
Caught the tablecloth. Go ahead.
But you have to. The consistency is what's important, right? So I have this journal, this interactive journal. It's called hashtag 30 Days of Consistency. And people like consistency is the most important aspect of anything. The only thing that's consistent is change, right? It's the only thing that's consistent. The only thing that's consistent is change. I'm
going to write that down, Face.
Go ahead. Write that down. The only thing that's consistent is change. Go ahead. Hashtag quote. Hey, Richard Book.
Only thing.
Go ahead. I'm quotable, y'all. I'm tweetable. Let me find out. I'm tweetable. But
is change.
So the only thing that's consistent is change.
Y'all write that down.
You know that where you are right now, you're not going to be there tomorrow. Because the Amber that I am today, I'm not going to be her tomorrow. Right. I might be a lesser Amber tomorrow than I am today. Or I might be more of an Amber tomorrow than I am today. And so that's where you got to focus on where you are right now in your healing.
And once you've healed,
yes, see? That is okay. Y'all, I tell people this all the time. I'm a business owner. I am a mother. I am a friend. I'm a daughter. I am a sister. I'm a business professional.
And you're dope.
I'm an entrepreneur and an entrepreneur. And she said I'm dope. But there are some days where I'm not a 100% mom. And there are days where I'm not 100% entrepreneur. And there are days where I'm not 100% of being a professional. Sometimes I'm a professional at work and I'm at like 60% where I walk into the coffee room and I'm like, hey, Chuck, how you doing? And then I go on about my business. But then there's other days, look at that. See, that was my girl's bedtime. It's bedtime. So their favorite song, what song was that? Drop Top Porsche, Rolling on My Wrist. Whose song is that? It's Cardi B. And Bruno Mars. Mars. Yeah, that's their bedtime alarm.
That's funny. They be dancing to the bed.
They be jamming like
dancing to the bed.
So bedtime is fun for them, right? So I'm like, oh, it's Cardi B. They know that sounded bad. But where you are right there, you have to understand that it's okay. Like I explained to somebody today, I'm like, even though I'm mature and healed in these areas and like I'm an expert on X, Y, and Z, when it comes to A, B, and C, I'm still human. I'm still learning.
Yeah.
And I got to be okay with that because there are times where I'm like, damn, am I not a good mom? Like, dang, I really was not a good mom today because I took out food to cook, but I just took them to Chick-fil-A instead. And I'm like, damn, I really should have cooked them food. Then I told my mom, I'm like, they better be glad because I was about to make them fast. They was like, we just gonna fast a bit tonight. Y'all gonna be all right.
Listen, we was about to have a consecration today. We ain't got no, Mom, you ain't cook. We fasting.
We fasting today. I'm like, lady, what? But in all actuality, the work, you have to see what works for you.
Right.
And that's healing is multifaceted. Maturing is multifaceted. Growth is multifaceted. There is no one size fits all. And that's what I tell people all the time because we want to know how.
How?
There is no specific how other than learning yourself. And that's a part of the self-love journey and seeing what works for you, what you like and what you don't like. That goes spiritually, mentally, emotionally, sexually. People don't think about that. They be like, oh, I can't have sex with this person because they don't know how to make me do. You don't even know what makes you do whatever.
Right.
So it's all about learning yourself. Like now I can tell I like to laugh. I like to watch documentaries. I like to read books. If you're going to do something for me, give me a gift card to Amazon, give me a gift card to Barnes & Noble, right? I like to do things where I'm laughing. So take me to a Frankie's. Let's go play mini golf. Let's go do laser tag. Something where it's like light competition. Something we could joke about, right? But a lot of people don't know that because you got to take yourself out. Figure out what you want to do. Self-love journey is not, like you said earlier, just getting your hair done, getting your nails done. It's about sitting there and saying, what is my favorite
like,
color?
What do I like to do?
And I had to say, what is my favorite color? Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you sit there and you like, oh, my favorite color is turquoise. And it's like, girl, why is your favorite color turquoise? You don't even have anything that's turquoise. And it's like, wow, because it's such a warm, cool color. Who thinks it's something like that? But you do. It's about finding out those little things about you. Like, what's your favorite food to eat?
Y'all see her nails is turquoise, right?
Oh, they are. See, I didn't even realize that. But they are. Like, it's just like, what is it that you love about yourself? I realized, oh, I got this big nose, right? I got this big nose. I used to be teased about my nose all my life, right?
Y'all see my nose? Y'all you tripping.
Right? But it fit my face though, y'all, because I'm still cute though, right? I'm still cute though, right? That's how I got 3 kids. Like,
you stupid.
But still, those things and those flaws that we see about ourselves, trying to understand, why do we identify with them as a flaw, right? And then appreciating it, because a part of that healing and that self-love journey is gratitude. There's so, like, I could teach a whole seminar about this, right? But you have healing and gratitude. Being grateful that you're here to even understand or come to the place like, hey, I'm missing something and I'm not loving myself right now. And being able to find out, hey, what is it that I'm missing that of why I can't love myself? What happened? Okay. Wow, when I was in 3rd grade, they used to call me Miss Piggy. So now here I am, almost 30 years old, and I'm still having this, not really, but this is just an example. Like, I have this connotation about myself because this is what somebody said about me. Or, like, I got the juice, right? I just been this juicy little girl that shopped in Chubbies all her life. And so it's like, oh, well, I can't be no fit girl because I've been juicy all my life. That's fear.
Right.
Not willing to change. Fear. Not being willing to change is an aspect of fear and an aspect of your unwillingness to fall in love with yourself. It doesn't matter how many times you fail. It matters how many times you give up and decide not to keep going. That's what matters. But then you have to sit there. I was the child where I focus on consistencies, because when I was growing up, I'm like, I'm gonna be a teacher. I'm gonna be a singer. I'm gonna be a fashion designer. My interest changed like my underclothes. Like, this is the longest, y'all. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm on a journey. Locks just happen to be a part of it. I told my friend today, I'm like, oh, I'm thinking about unraveling my hair, and he's like, okay. I'm like, no, you're not gonna stop me. No. So I'm like, okay, cool. But it doesn't mean I'm gonna do it. But it's finding out what it is that I'm on this journey, just like we are.
Like, what does Shanae like? Like, what? Right. Like, I'm on this whole exploration too of, like, you know, for those of you who know that I am now married, you know, there are certain things now married people do without feeling some type of way about it. See, I waited until I was married, so a little bit. Praise the Lord, a little bit. But I've had to learn sexually. I've had to learn me. What do I like? What do I don't like? And even stuff that I do or don't like, my husband be like, no, it's okay. We don't have to do that. And he's like, I'm gonna help you fill it out. Like, and for me, that's been a part of helping me with my self-love. It's okay,
having
cool,
that supportive partner,
right? And we're not saying that let go of everybody and just love yourself. We're saying find people who support you in you loving yourself, because you do need support. You need help with loving yourself sometimes, because you need to see how other people do it. We're gonna end. We've been talking for a long time.
I'm sorry, y'all.
No, it's fine. No, the people needed to hear what you had to say.
Connect with me though at A Rich Book. And before we go, these bracelets that I'm wearing, these are empowerment bracelets. They're affirmations that I have. I have 2 stacks, Inspire stack and a Manifest stack. And then right now, which launched today on the 3rd day of the 3rd month for 20 days only, from March 3rd to March 23rd, you can get 3 for $33, okay? And you can pick whatever affirmations that you want. It's for your everyday wear, so that when you look down, you get that soft, subtle reminder of, hey, I can do this. Hey, I can push through, and I will. And again, you can find those on my website, www.arichbook.com.
And tell us about the cupcakes.
Cupcakes, cocktails, and conversations. Love like no other, right? That's the topic for this year. It's March 23rd at the Carrick Art Gallery here in Durham, North Carolina. It's going to be from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Please RSVP because space is super limited and we are almost halfway there. Like, I'm just so humbled that people see are investing not necessarily in me but in their self-love as by way of this empowerment
but they
experience.
Also trust you too,
yes,
to be able to give it to you. I'm so humbled. That's completely a humbling experience. Yes, so definitely y'all know that my book signing is June 1st at Millennium Revival Center. It's so I'm working on the time right now. It starts at 4. Vendors start at 4, and the show itself starts at 4:45, 5 o'clock. But I'm thinking about moving the time up. But for right now, all my vendor tables are gone. As soon as I said free vendor tables, all of a sudden I've gotten a million emails. So they're gone. If I've talked to you individually, then this doesn't apply to you, but they're gone. My book is almost out. My cover has been uploaded already and it's been approved. So I'm excited. I've gotten my copyright letter in the mail already. So that is done. So y'all can take my poetry and use it as your own. And so my interior will be uploaded very soon. So I can't wait for y'all to get Woman. If you want to get I Almost Held On event, The Different Faces of Me, let me know. They are only $15. Woman will be $20. You know why? Because I believe in my worth. So as Bruno Mars and Cardi B sends us out, y'all have an amazing week. We will see y'all in 2 weeks. All right. Deuces.